Alright, what is up guys, welcome back to another video. We are just taking a quick look at Verasity here, and as we can see, looking like over the past few weeks, obviously as we well know by now, since the start of the year really, we've had a really nice little move up for Verasity from this low down here. We bottomed out down here around about a fifth of a cent really, which was essentially, you know, in and around this area that we did talk about being a key kind of swing low-ish area, as you can see back here. Obviously we kind of got this big coiling motion for a long while for Verasity really, for about a year, where it had, you know, a pump, a dump, and then kind of like coiling up, going sideways, not doing too much, and then obviously heading into that bull market scenario. We did have a very nice run up here, obviously with the big bearish divergence at the top, overextension, and then this prolonged bearish period that we have seen for a lot of cryptos really. Basically ever since we saw that top for Bitcoin, we have been rolling over for basically all cryptos in a very similar fashion. And you can see it's no exception here for Verasity. It did eventually come down here. We thought maybe it would start to see a bounce in this area here, but we did get, you know, a little bit of support being made here, but really we lost that support again and continued to the downside, down to into this area here where there's, you know, this current swing low. But we did have these huge bullish divergences starting to form over a long period of many months, and then finally we did start to see some resistances being absolutely ripped through, didn't we? Obviously that local resistance down here of that kind of descending wedge we saw for a lot of altcoins that we did see breaking back inside that range that we did talk about here as well, smashing all the way up through that 023 Fibonacci level. Since we pulled our Fibonacci from the bull market high to that current low of the bear market, you can see obviously smashed that 023 very nicely here. We ran all the way up, and we found a very decent amount of resistance on that previous swing low support there, flipped into resistance here, and then obviously you can see resistance here finally being broken again. We came up to this, coiled up in a coiling motion like this, you know, going sideways, kind of coiling into a little pattern like this, got a continuation, and now looking like we might be coiling up again here for another continuation to the upside. Obviously depending on what happens with the wider markets, we could see a very large amount of volatility today with the CPI coming out. I do believe it's coming out later today in the US, and that could obviously see a lot of volatility for Bitcoin, and if that is the case, Verasity could also follow to the upside or the downside depending on what happens. But I think realistically we're probably looking at having a bit of a retracement for Verasity quite soon. We can obviously see the bearish divergence is starting to come in here and running out of a bit of steam, and this is exactly what Bitcoin was looking like a few days ago before it started to come back down into this area here on Bitcoin's chart. It was actually quite a similar scenario. If we take just a quick look at what happened, basically you can see here obviously we came up going through that new year, broke through a resistance like this, we ran up and we got the overextension, which is where we're currently at for Verasity here, kind of chopping sideways. And you can see here for Bitcoin it's had a little bit of a rollover with that bearish divergence starting to come in, and you could see a similar thing happening for Verasity in my opinion, depending on what happens with the wider market. Obviously if we do see the CPI having disastrous results for the markets, then we could see, you know, big volatility in either direction. But really I'm still just waiting for Verasity to come back down to this level here where I have got a long position ready for a bounce, most likely on that previous resistance flipped into support. So that's very simply what I'm looking for today, guys. Long term I'm still super bullish on Verasity, but not out of the woods yet whatsoever in terms of the wider market. If you take a quick look at Bitcoin on the daily time frame, you can clearly see here that we are still potentially, you know, still making lower lows and lower highs on the macro pretty much, aren't we? Obviously we've come up here and made a higher high in this area here, which is good to see, but we could still easily come down and make a lower low. So I need more confirmations of a bull market before we do start to jump to conclusions like that. But for now, this is what we're looking for Verasity. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.